Fast and Furious, also known as The Fast and the Furious, is a media franchise centered on a series of action films that are largely concerned with street racing, heists, spies, and family. The franchise also includes short films, a television series, toys, video games, live shows, and theme park attractions. So we present to you Top 10 The Fast and the Furious movies. Number 10. Fast X. Fast X, also known as Fast and Furious 10, is a 2023 American action film directed by Louis Leterrier from a screenplay written by Dan Mazo and Justin Lin, both of whom also co-wrote the story with Zach Dean. It is the sequel to F9, 2021, the 10th main installment, and the 11th installment overall in the Fast and Furious franchise. In the film, Toretto must protect his family from Dante Reyes, Momoa, who seeks revenge for his father's death and the loss of his family's fortune. Fast X premiered at the Space Cinema in Rome on May 12, 2023. It was first released in several countries across Europe and South America on May 17, and in the United States on May 19, by Universal Pictures. The film received mixed reviews from critics, with praise for its action sequences and Momoa's performance, but criticism for the writing and direction. Fast X has grossed over $719 million worldwide, becoming the fourth highest grossing film of 2023. A sequel is in development and scheduled to be released in 2025. Number 9. Too Fast, Too Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious is a 2003 action film directed by John Singleton based on a story by Brant Haas and Gary Scott Thompson. It is the sequel to The Fast and the Furious, 2001, and the second installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. The film stars Paul Walker as Brian O'Connor alongside Tyrese Gibson, Eva Mendes, Cole Hauser, Chris, Ludacris, Bridges, and James Remar. In the film, ex-LAPD officer Brian O'Connor and his friend Roman Pierce Gibson go undercover for the United States Customs Service. Number 8. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift is a 2006 action film directed by Justin Lin and written by Chris Morgan. It is the standalone sequel to The Fast and the Furious, 2001, and Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003, and the third installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. It stars Lucas Black and Bo Wow. In the film, car enthusiast Sean Boswell, Black, is sent to live in Tokyo with his estranged father and finds solace exploring the city's drifting community. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift premiered at the Gibson Amphitheater in Los Angeles on June 4, 2006, and was released in the United States on June 16, by Universal Pictures. Tokyo Drift grossed $159 million worldwide, making it the lowest grossing film in the franchise. Number 7. The Fast and the Furious. The Fast and the Furious is a 2001 action film directed by Rob Cohen from a screenplay by Gary Scott Thompson, Eric Bergquist, and David Ayer, based on the Vibe magazine article, Racer X, by Ken Lee. The first installment in the Fast and Furious franchise, it stars Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Rick Yoon, Chad Lindbergh, Johnny Strong, and Ted Levine. In the film, Brian O'Connor, Walker, an LAPD officer, goes undercover in the street racing world to investigate a group of unknown hijackers, believed to be led by Dominic Toretto, Diesel. The Fast and the Furious premiered at the Mann Village Theater in Los Angeles on June 18, 2001, and was released in the United States on June 22, by Universal Pictures. The film Number 6. F9. F9, also known as F9. The Fast Saga or Fast and Furious 9. The Fast Saga is a 2021 American action film directed by Justin Lin, who co-wrote the screenplay with Daniel Casey, based on a story by Lin, Alfredo Bateo, and Casey. It is the sequel to The Fate of the Furious 2017, the 9th main installment, and the 10th installment overall in the Fast and Furious franchise. In the film, Toretto and the team come together to stop a world-shattering plot involving his younger brother, Jakob Cena. F9 was originally scheduled for release by Universal Pictures on April 19, 2019, but was delayed several times, first due to the release of Hobbs & Shaw 2019, and planned release of No Time to Die 2021, and then the COVID-19 pandemic. It first was released in South Korea on May 19, 2021. It was released in the United Kingdom on June 24, then released in the United States on June 25. The film received mixed reviews from critics, with some praise for the stunts and Lin's direction, while it was criticized for its Number 5. The Fate of the Furious. The Fate of the Furious, also known as Fast and Furious 8 internationally, is a 2017 American action film directed by F. Gary Gray and written by Chris Morgan. It is the sequel to Furious 7, 2015, and the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. In the film, Dom has settled down with his wife Letty Ortiz, until cyber-terrorist Cypher, Theron, coerces him into working for her and turns him against his team, forcing them to find Dom and take down Cypher. The Fate of the Furious premiered in Berlin on April 4, 2017, and was theatrically released in the United States on April 14, by Universal Pictures. It received mixed to positive reviews from critics, with praise for the performances of the cast and action sequences but criticism for the storyline. The film was a box office success, grossing over $1.2 billion worldwide, making it the 19th film, and the second in the franchise, after Furious 7, to gross over $1 billion, the third highest grossing film of 2017, and the 11th highest grossing film of all time at the time. Number 4. Fast and Furious 6. Fast and Furious 6, titled on-screen as Furious 6, and in Japan as Wild Speed. Euro Mission, is a 2013 action film directed by Justin Lin and written by Chris Morgan. It is the sequel to Fast 5, 2011, and the 6th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. In the film, Toretto, O'Connor, and their team are offered pardons for their crimes in exchange for helping DSS agent Luke Hobbs Johnson apprehend a mercenary organization led by former British SAS Major Owen Shaw Evans, one member of which is Toretto's former lover Letty Ortiz Rodriguez. Fast and Furious 6 premiered at Empire, Leicester Square on May 7, 2013, and was then first released in the United Kingdom on May 17, and in the United States on May 24, by Universal Pictures. The film received generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for Lin's direction, cast performances and action sequences. It grossed $788.7 million, making it the 6th highest grossing film of 2013. Number 3. Fast and Furious. Hobbs & Shaw. Fast and Furious. Hobbs & Shaw is a 2019 buddy action comedy film directed by David Leitch from a screenplay by Chris Morgan and Drew Pearce, based on a story by Morgan. It is the first spin-off film in the Fast and Furious franchise, set after the events of The Fate of the Furious 2017. It stars Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Idris Elba, Vanessa Kirby, Isa Gonzalez, Cliff Curtis, and Helen Mirren. In the film, the unlikely pairing of Luke Hobbs Johnson and Deckard Shaw Statham joined Deckard's sister Hattie Shaw Kirby to take down Brixton Lore Elba, a cybernetically enhanced terrorist threatening the world with a deadly virus. Hobbs & Shaw premiered at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood on July 13, 2019, was theatrically released in the United States on August 2, 2019, by Universal Pictures. The film received positive reviews from critics, who praised the chemistry between Johnson and Statham but found it underwhelming when compared to other Fast and Furious films. Hobbs & Shaw grossed $760 million worldwide, becoming the 11th highest grossing film of 2019. Number 2. Fast 5. Fast 5, also known as Fast and Furious 5 or Fast and Furious 5. Rio Heist, is a 2011 action film directed by Justin Lin and written by Chris Morgan. It is the sequel to Fast and Furious, 2009, and the fifth installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. In the film, Dom and Brian, along with Dom's sister Mia, Brewster, plan a heist to steal $100 million from corrupt businessman Hernan Reyes Almeida, while being pursued for arrest by U.S. Diplomatic Security Service DSS agent Luke Hobbs Johnson. Fast 5 premiered at the Cinépolis Lagoon in Rio de Janeiro on April 15, 2011, and was released in the United States on April 29, by Universal Pictures. The film received positive reviews, with praise for Lin's direction, the action sequences, and the performances of the cast. It is widely considered one of the best films in the franchise. Fast 5 grossed $626 million worldwide, becoming the 7th highest grossing film of 2011. Number 1. Furious 7. Furious 7, also known as Fast and Furious 7, is a 2015 action film directed by James Wan and written by Chris Morgan. It is the sequel to Fast and Furious 6, 2013, and The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, 2006, and the 7th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. In the film, Dominic Toretto, Diesel, Brian O'Connor, Walker, and their team are recruited by covert ops leader Mr. Nobody, Russell, to prevent terrorist Mose Jacan, Hansu, from obtaining a hacking program. Meanwhile, Deckard Shaw, Statham, a former Special Forces soldier seeking to avenge his comatose younger brother, puts the team in danger once again. Furious 7 premiered at the TCL Chinese Theater in Los Angeles on April 1, 2015, and was released in the United States on April 3, by Universal Pictures. The film was a box office success and it received positive reviews from critics for its action sequences and emotional tribute to Walker, with many considering it to be the best film in the franchise.